Okay, so we are here today with Danielle Pearson, one of my long-term clients, been working together for over 18 months now. She's a mum, she's 38. I've asked her to consent to saying that. She's absolutely fine with it. She's got a very, very busy job. I'm not going to give you the full title, but it's pretty important. But it's in the NHS, so very long working days, unpredictable shifts, bit of a hectic life, likes to travel. And what we're going to do today is we're going to get into her journey, and we're going to discuss some of the things that she was struggling with before starting with myself, how we put a plan in place to kind of move forward towards her goals, physical goals, emotional goals, mental goals, and also what we're currently doing now and how her life has changed. So, Danielle, one thing I always go on about is reasoning to doing something. Okay, now the reason a lot of people don't actually pursue getting in shape, changing their lifestyle, because you've not actually got a real solid reason. So for you, what was the main reason for you to actually go in, I'm going to start coaching with Tommy because I want to do something to change my life in a positive way?
So before I got in touch with you, I've always been into fitness, but I had some extensive surgery and it had an emotional impact as well as physical. So I needed to get in the right mindset to achieve what I wanted to do. Obviously going back to work, obviously I look slim, I look well, but it wasn't enough. And I think it's because I wasn't getting the best out of my training. Obviously, researching you, being informed by you by one of my friends, you've changed a lot of people. You've changed the mindset with whatever job they do, how they work, what they need to. With you, it's very personal in terms of you listen to my story to say, Danielle, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And you worked with me to build a plan to obviously achieve where I am today, 18 months on.
And I think it's really important that you mentioned that, but we've been together sounds like a relationship. We've been together over 18 months now.
It is.
It's been a long time. And I think we're at a position now where, I really do understand you to a point where I can understand how things are going to affect you emotionally. We've had plenty of conversations where, things have been going a bit south in personal life and things, and we've been able to really attack them issues because we understand that if we focus on the things that are, potentially negatively impacting your life outside of the gym, outside of health and fitness, that's going to carry over into, the kind of results that we produce. So you're absolutely right in saying that. Now, one thing that is really important, which again gets overlooked, is actually working towards a goal and the importance of having a goal and having that kind of set in stone. When we started, for you, what was the goal? Now I want to think physically and emotionally. What did you want to achieve?
So physically, I knew I'd just gone through one of the biggest stops a young woman could go, and I needed to continue that, to obviously keep going, keep being fit, keep being healthy, prevent more surgery. So that was one. I wanted to slim down, get back to how I was, because emotionally it had a massive impact. I was looking in the mirror thinking, I'm a young woman, I've just had this surgery, I need to get back to how I am to give me that strength to crack on with everything else. In terms of emotional goals, I think for me, being in the gym and working with you, as you know, that is my switch off. I can crack on, I can do it, Danielle can be Danielle. So I needed that time, but up till then I was in the gym, just ticking over, not really doing what I was setting out to achieve. I was just keeping up my fitness and,
Almost like ticking a box type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And obviously you guys don't know Danielle as well as I do. Like, I have to tell her now to don't do cardio, don't go for a run, don't go to the gym. Now I know that's for you is like a bit of a, like you said, an escape, and it's a real, like almost like a safe space for you. Has that always been the case, or has that something that you've kind of learned over the last 18 months, or have you always been like that?
I've always been like that, but with you, I've learned to really get what I can out of that hour, where I was probably just going, well, I'll go for another run, get another hour, where now I can switch off, I can be me, I can get what I want out of that hour without wasting time. Yeah.
And it is important because sometimes, like, there's a difference between going to the gym to escape, get out your head and have a bit of you time and de-stress, and then going to the gym or going for a run to actually progress and move forwards. Sometimes the first one it can hinder the second one. You can overtrain. You can do too much.
Yeah.
You can do too much cardio, do too much weight training. And I think for us, one of the things that you've really improved on is actually having that discipline to go, hang on a minute, I don't need to go and burn myself to the ground to do another 20, 30 minutes cardio. Yeah. And again, it's one of them where a lot of people sometimes struggle to have the motivation to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you sometimes struggle to have the motivation to not go to the gym and to almost like be disciplined. Yeah. How do you kind of make sure that your headspace is still in a good place when I'm saying you're not allowed to go and do something today?
Probably the step count that you set me, so I think, right, okay, I can still get me hour and I'm still itching, burning to get out. I'm like, right, let's go and do it this way. The variation of the training, the variation of the task that you can give me, and obviously factoring in life, you know, doing different things, you know, going out with Olivia. It's hard, it is very, very difficult. But I think because you've trained me now to get what I can emotionally, physically out that hour, it's been enough.
Yeah.
Whether I've been going through emotional shit, which we all do, I'm actually getting what I need to get out of that hour purposely, rather than just finding an escape. And I think then once I've had that hour, I've gone home, I'm emotionally stronger to deal with Olivia, you know, deal with the family shit that's going on, because obviously life does get in the way, doesn't it? But
Absolutely.
And it has a massive impact. The days that I'm resting, I tend to have Olivia, so my mind's occupied.
Yeah.
It's a day for me and her. It's not about me on them days. And then that has allowed me to rest, you know, obviously, you know, I'm going through divorce, house sale, etc. But putting everything into plan, talking to you, right, Tommy, on my rest days, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, I've got Olivia, so I'm still busy, I'm still active. That's the only thing that's probably helped me, because otherwise I'd probably still go to the gym.
You're one of them, you could go 7 days a week if you could.
I think just because it helps, I don't know, it's really difficult. Like when I was going through some emotional shit, you know, I lost someone that I loved probably about a year ago now, as you know. And I rang you and I was like, I'm in the gym, but I don't know what I'm doing, Tommy. So in my head, I'm there, but actually I wasn't getting anything. So that might not have been the best thing to me, but you were like, look, let's just break it down, reduce it into smaller sessions, and we'll look at doing bigger walks, doing your cardio elsewhere. And it's about tailoring it to what I need.
Well, you know what, we can kind of reframe that. So I think it's fair to say you could probably got a bit of an addiction to training, going to the gym, that kind of stuff. Now, I do bang on about a hell of a lot about vices and vessels and how we're kind of not necessarily cover up certain things that are going on, you know, our emotions, but how we deal with things. Yeah. And I do always say, and speaking from experience, I've been through pretty much all of them, you know, drinking, partying, like addictions, them kind of things. They're all vices and vessels. And I do always bang on about like fitness, training. It's the only one that's not really got a downside. So I think the real positive that you can take from this is that there's not really a downside to actually going to the gym and actually working on yourself and training on yourself. I think it's just a case of reframing that mindset to go in, this is my vessel, this is my vice, which has obviously gotten the results we've gotten today into where we are, and obviously in a much better place, you know, mentally and physically. One thing that I often come up against with clients and just people day to day is like barriers in life. And I always say there's never a good time to start. There is always something going to come up. I've got my holiday in 2 weeks, so I'll start after then. I've got work going a bit crazy at the moment, so I'll start when it quietens down. So before you started, what were some of them like barriers and obstacles that could have been a sticking point for you to actually start in, and how did you actually go, I'm just going to do it now?
So I think in terms of the job, so I was going back, obviously I'd just had 3 months off from the surgery, back to work. I was doing full-time hours over 4 days. So I'm like, obviously single childcare, because obviously me and Andy had split up then. So I'm like, I start at 8, work till 7, I'm going to work it out. What is going on? And I just sat down and thought, Danielle, you're up at 4, you're up at 5, get this shit done. So I had to look at, so I was panicking thinking I'm not going to get it done. Then obviously I'm scanning all day. So even the diet, down to the diet, I'm like, how am I going to eat? Every 2 hours, every 3 hours, I can't, how am I going to get my meal prep done? But then I sat down and thought, I'm determined, I'm hardworking, I will get this shit done, and I'll find a way. And it's just about time management.
There you go.
Time management, working with someone that tailors it to what you say to me, what's your working day, what's your working pattern? when do you have Olivia? What time? How long for? How long do you get in the gym? You know, you're giving me a Stairmaster thing of 40 minutes. I'm like, Tommy, I can't do 40 minutes. We're like, right, okay. What can we do?
Yeah.
So obviously work was one, home life, obviously, splitting up with my partner. When have I got Olivia? When I haven't got Olivia, I'm going to have her so I can get out to train. Because obviously all my family's in Manchester, so it's like, I haven't got much family up there. So it's like, when can I get this training done? But actually, I've tailored it when I've needed to. Work, as you know, I've gone...
Life
so in general, yeah.
You know, what you're saying there is not anything kind of new. Obviously, we've all got our own specific things going on in our own lives and stuff, okay? But everyone watching this will understand that work, family and life is normally the main thing that's stopping you from doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you could have easily turned around and said, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to eat my meals. I don't have time to do X, Y, and Z. Your alternative, your solution is, well, let's just wake up an hour earlier and let's just get it done in the morning, because that is my only window of opportunity. Now, the reason a lot of people don't do that, or they struggle to do that, is because that's a bit uncomfortable waking up at, daft o'clock in the morning doing them things. But that comes back down to what we spoke about your goal and what it actually meant to you. So therefore, the trade-off between getting up early and actually achieving that goal or not achieving that goal, the trade-off's kind of like imbalance of like, I'm going to do it because I really want to achieve this. And that's a really important thing to get across, is that without actually understanding fully what your goal means to you, personally, specifically, because your goal won't mean anything to anybody else, but to you, it's life-changing. So when you really understand that and drill down into it and understand the emotional attachment to that, recovering from your operation, your kids, being the best mother you can be, being successful at work, that's a strong reason to get up an hour early and get shit done.
Get it done.
Brilliant. So another thing that is massively overlooked is mindset, how you perceive things, what your approach is when you're faced with difficult situations, okay? How would you say your mindset has changed over the last 18 months when you've been presented with a problem in day-to-day life?
I think, obviously, working with you, you've taught me to obviously anything can be done. So when you do come across problems such as, you get to the gym, 3 people running your machine, I'm like, what's going on? It's my time at 5 in the morning. Right, okay, let's use my head, deal with it, send Tommy a video. If it's not right, see what you can do. But I think the thing behind it for me is anything can be done. Whether it's a family problem, a work problem, a gym problem, it can be encountered. Right, okay, car's not working or whatever, I can't get to the gym in the morning, sort it for the afternoon. There's always a plan. Or you can make a plan in play, when holidays come up or work trips come up, I can make a plan. Yeah. You've taught me that shit will still get done no matter what.
And you know what that is? That's just, again, the reason I can kind of help you with that is because I've been through that. I've been that person. When something happens, I'm like, oh my God, my day's ruined. But then as soon as you're able to reframe the situation, my car's not working. Oh, I can go and get my steps in today or something. I can go and walk to work. Again, that's a bit far-fetched, that example. But if you kind of have that like mentality where it's happened, what can I do about this now? That is the difference between, going through life, having a good outlook and being positive. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to feel a bit miffed off sometimes if something goes wrong, that's absolutely fine. But it's almost like what you do next. So it's almost like having that resilience to overcome challenges. I always bang on about characteristics such as resilience, discipline. They're things that are trained. So it's not like one day you wake up and you go, right, I'm super resilient now, and I'm like able to overcome all these different things. And it's something you've got to continuously work on. How do you work on them things? Or how do you work on being resilient, having a positive mindset, being able to overcome the challenges? What things do you do day to day? You might not even realize you're doing them. What things do you do day to day that help instill them good quality traits into yourself?
I think obviously being that person naturally, but seeing the outcome. So I think, well, if I sit back and think, have a word with yourself, Dan, whatever, what can you do better? How can you strive to be better? Then I think the discipline gets you to the end result. So I know that I need to be disciplined to get it done. If I don't, I'm not going to get there, am I?
Cool. No, you're absolutely right. But that's really important. That's something we've learned working together. But a lot of people always going about motivation. I'm not motivated, blah, blah, blah. Not once have you mentioned motivation there. You mentioned discipline.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between maybe before when you started, it's like, I'm not motivated to do it. I'm not motivated to get up. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're not always going to be motivated.
Yeah.
I'm the same. But having that discipline to complete X, Y, and Z to give you the result is what is going to allow you to get results over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Hence why we're here 18 months later, about to do a shoot and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's really good. So, balance. People like me and you, parents, we like to be sociable, we like to get away, we like to have a life. How important is it for you to be able to follow a plan that incorporates balance into your lifestyle?
I ring you. No, so I think obviously I've had holidays, I've had work trips. I love life. I love going out. I'm like, Tommy, got a night out, right, what can I have? You'll help me through it. But I know it's not going to do much damage because of the graft I've put in before. But it's like I've just been away with my little girl. Tommy, I'm going to have the odd wine on a night, not 6 ice creams, not all the chocolate cake that's in the restaurant. Yeah, I'm going to go and pay the chef to do me some off, my planned meals. But I think that means I can still have fun. So even on holiday, obviously, granddad come, my dad come, I'd Olivia looked after, I can get my training done, go and have an hour. It's not going to be to the extent of getting my sessions done back home and my check-in's going to look the same, but I've been accountable for being able to think, just keep it in shape, keep it ticking over, but then go on the beach and piss about, get a jet ski out, go and have a glass of wine, I've earned it. But for me, it is that balance. Even work trips, I can go away. I'm not sat in the bar supping, don't need to. I can have nice food, I can still get my stuff done. And I don't know, I just think balance is important because I do love life. I am a social butterfly, love having a laugh. And you can't always do that in the gym, can you? You've got to go out into normal environments such as bars, restaurants, whatever.
There's a life outside the gym. And
100%.
I think it's important because sometimes when you do look at social media and you do see like all these influencers and fitness influencers, you look at it and you think, wow, that looks amazing. But realistically, they probably just live their life in a gym. They've probably not got much of a life outside of the gym, which if that's what someone wants, perfect. But people like me and you, that's not what we want. We want to go and get pissed every now and again and enjoy some nice food. It's just what we want to do, and that's what makes us happy, and that's why this program, this kind of process we've been through, has suited you so well. So there's an important, not even important, there's quite a powerful thing that I kind of live by, and it's about being selfish to be selfless.
Okay.
So all that means is you're prioritising yourself so that you can give the best to them people around you. So obviously as a parent, as a family woman, what would you say has been the biggest impact from you prioritising yourself to those that you love around you, so your family, your little girl?
Obviously Olivia can see, it's Olivia really, is she kidding it? She can see that a mum can get her shit done, she can go to work, she's still looking life, but looking well, but she has this time for me. She's stronger, she's physically and emotionally more happy. I've done my thing, I can give Olivia the world, I can go out and enjoy a day. She's watching me, juggle 6 things around in a day, but she's like, in years to come, she'll be like, my mum can do it, I can do it. And it is about installing, probably from a younger age, that discipline, resilience, I want her to look up to me and think, you can achieve it. Whinging about, I've got work to do, I can't get this done, get that done. I want her to see me looking well, being healthy, emotionally and physically. Yeah. And that's why I'm still able to do everything I can do.
How good does that feel as a parent? Like I'm smiling listening to that. As a parent, knowing that I'm doing right by my kid. Because she's looking up to you, she's seeing my mum is superwoman. She was
like, look at you on the jet ski, look at your shoulder muscles. I was like, I know they're good, aren't they? But she was just in awe of me, and I thought, you know what, it's about setting an example in it. 100%. To whoever you are or whatever lifestyle you've got. We've all got crazy lifestyles, but I think it does make you a better person.
Absolutely. And even if you've not got kids, it's just being a good person.
Yeah.
I think as you mature and as you get older, you start understanding that being able to kind of give to other people, being able to make other people happy, to provide for other people, whether it be family, friends, and just being there for people, being present mentally, emotionally and physically. It's such a good feeling. It's so rewarding to actually, be in a position where you can do that. Because again, I don't know about yourself, I've been through some times in my life where I've been in real dark places. I've shut off, I sit there, I don't talk, I go into a shell, and I'm no good to myself, I'm no good to anyone around me. I'm like, I might as well not be here, without sounding too deep and dark. But I think a lot of people watching will be able to resonate with that. And I think when you start doing good for yourself, you're feeling better in your clothes, you're feeling better in your headspace. There's no reason for you to not be a happier, better person. And I guarantee after a good workout and a good week of sticking on plan, I bet you're buzzing at the weekend, and I bet you're the most fun parent and person to be around.
Should see him on sports day. Bad. But it's like, but people at work, it's like, oh, you're always training, you're always doing that. And I'm like, just be positive. That's good for me. I like that. And it's trying to change that negative energy and comments just to say, look, we'll try it yourself. And then come at me, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are like, you mad, you train every day. Well, yeah, I do, but to a certain extent, and that works for me.
You know what that is? A lot of that is, unfortunately, some people have never actually been on kind of like a journey that you've been on or I've been on, where they've actually achieved something, they put themselves through adversity to achieve an end result. They've not achieved that. So unfortunately, sometimes it's their way of making themselves feel a little bit better. Don't go to the gym too much. You're going to get too skinny. You're going to get too muscly.
You should have heard the stick I got for doing the 3 peaks.
Really?
Well, I left them.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. If you've not trained for I didn't even train. Tommy never got me ready to climb 3 mountains, did he? But
no. But I think it's one of them things where I used to look as well at people like that and go, oh, piss off. But now I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, that person probably needs a bit of help. The reason they're normally projecting a bit of negativity or I wouldn't want to look like you, or don't get too skinny, or you look unwell, that normally tells me that you're probably needing a little bit of help, because you're obviously projecting how you're feeling onto somebody else. I think as you get older, like we go back to the point about impacting people around you, rather than kind of turning around and throwing your nose up at them people, you can almost go like, well, why don't you come try it? Why don't you come and, come for a walk with me, or come to the gym, or try and eat a bit healthier. You guarantee you'll feel better. And it's kind of like a bit of a cycle that kind of keeps working round. And I think that's an important thing to take from that is, you never get someone who's ahead of you looking down, looking back, casting shade, do you? You never get it. No. It's always the people who are maybe not kind of up to where you are. Though I think it's important as people who are, quote unquote, ahead, it's almost like look back and kind of put a hand out for them people. But every now and again, some people need a little bit of a slap as well. A bit of a shake up. Okay, so, we talked a little bit about like challenges, life, work, kids. What are some of the things that you struggle with? Not necessarily struggle with, but just a day-to-day. What is a challenge for you on a day-to-day? Talk me through a day where you're working, you've got to do mum duties, you've got to go to the gym. What are some of the things that you are faced with, but obviously you overcome?
Obviously, we spoke about gym problems, haven't we? Of altered technique and things like that. But then sometimes I'll sit there and I'm pissed off because I'm like, I need to get that exercise done. Probably don't get in touch with you till after 8. By then, I've got home, showered, sorted live out, got to school, got to work. I'm already fucking fuming because I've not done what I needed to do. And then I sit there and think, right, just wait for Tommy to come through and we'll work it out. I'll go after work. But then for me, if I've not got such and such done, it does have a negative impact. So it really does, and I have to sit and I'm probably a bit shout with people, and I'm not the bubbly Danielle.
So again, like we spoke about there before about characteristics and how they need to be worked on. You pretty much self-explained there that that's a characteristic you need to work on, which is a bit more like being a little bit more adaptable. I'm exactly the same. If something doesn't go to plan, exactly how I planned it, I'm like, oh, the world's falling apart. Like I've not got, this piece of Tupperware I want to put my meals in. It's not that but then when you become a bit more resilient and go, it's fine, just flow with it. That's something that, one, is going to remove that negativity from your day-to-day work, your interactions with people, but it's also going to make you just be more adaptable. So, we're in the real world, you're going to go to the gym and piece of equipment aren't going to be there. Car is going to play up. Kids are going to be playing up, bills, all these different things in life. And I think if we're able to be adaptable and versatile, then that is going to allow us to stay in that positive forward momentum mindset where, nothing's holding you back and you're a bit unbreakable. So that's something you need to work on still.
Right, okay. Achieved by when?
We'll put a date on it. TBC. So, a lot of people who kind of be watching this, and you know, friends and family of yourself, they'll be able to relate to a lot of the things that you're saying.
Yeah.
Some of the problems that you've had, still have, not problems, but barriers, kids, work, all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give to somebody who's watching and is maybe currently going, I don't have any time in the day, where do I start, I don't know what to do? What advice would you say to somebody to take that first step?
I remember you probably halfway into our training said, look, Dan, get a piece of paper and tell me what your activities are. Let's see how we can factor in when you've got live, your training. I think no one's ever too busy. I'm not saying I'm the busiest person in the world, but no one's too busy. We've all got family, friends, social events to do. I think planning is key. Mm-hmm. And once you've planned and took that first step, and even if you found a half an hour window to do your exercise or do what helps you, whether it's in the gym, I think that's all you need. So planning, determination, and no excuses. There is no excuses.
Brilliant. It's simple though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's simple, like you said there, piece of paper and planning, and actually have a look. Like, you know, if you actually break things down and how many hours a day are you on, you know, not you, but people on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, procrastinating. If you add all that time up and condense it, you're probably going to be left with quite a bit of time. Yeah. You know, so there always is time to actually do stuff. A lot of it for people is almost fear that's holding them back, fear of failure. You know, you can only fail if you try. So if you don't try, then you're not going to fail. So some people sit in that comfort zone. What would you say to someone who has that fear of like trying to get in shape, trying to do something, but they're being held back through the thought of, I can't do this, I can't achieve this, I don't believe in myself?
I think having an online coach, or, you know, obviously I know you're online, but I think having that coach gets you over that fear. It's having that contact, it's having that person who will adapt and change everything and tailor everything to your needs. I think gradually you'll be able to come over that fear. I mean, it's a difficult one because I've always been sporty in the gym. I mean, there'll be a lot of women that don't want to go into a gym where there's loads of lads, you know, if they're overweight or whatever, they don't feel comfortable. Maybe look at the basics. Look at a quieter gym. Look at a home gym. There's ways around it. You can always get over that fear. Yeah. If you can't, it's probably not the right thing for you because you've got to get through it. Mm-hmm. You've got to find that determination to get through it. And you probably need to look at your end goals as well, because you know that you've got to get through that to achieve that. Definitely. At the end.
Definitely. Well, was there ever a moment when you kind of like, I know you talked about your operation and you had this like realisation, but was there an actual moment where you went, I need to do something to change the path that my life's on?
100%. Because obviously I'd had extensive surgery, and to be as fit for the next lot of surgery, I had to do something about it. Obviously I was fit, but I needed to be strong. I've never really trained my core. No. You know, it's little things like that, my pelvis, everything. And I think my second lot of surgeries, you know, I only achieved it and smashed it within 2 weeks because of your training programme. Because I knew that physically I had to be strong. Emotionally, yeah, you can look at that, you can look at different things, but physically, if I wasn't strong enough to get through another anaesthetic, I wouldn't have been able to have my second operation. Yeah. See, you know, it's weighing things up, and it's like the surgeon said to me, he said, you've just smashed that 10-hour up because of how fit and healthy you are. Most people I wouldn't have done the full lot in one go. So that was massive. It was like, I knew that I was only up and about walking because obviously of how fit and healthy I was, and emotionally strong. So
I think the kind of main things to take away from this is like, you know, no matter how busy you are, you know, family, work, your social life, you have found a way to still get things done, achieve your goal, and incorporate it into your life and work with everything you've got going on rather than working against it. So it's possible, it's doable, and I think the results that you've got and where you're currently at, you know, physically but also emotionally and mentally, you credit to yourself. Like, you should be really proud of yourself. And I'm not one to blow smoke up people's ass, but it's really is impressive. And I think the main thing that I'm really impressed about is the fact that you are able to recognise how much this is impacting your daughter, how much of a role model 100%. You are for her. So you should be proud of yourself for that. Brilliant conversation with Dan. Real insight into, you know, real world problems. I say real world problems, everyday problems, life, kids, family, work, all them different types of things. But I think it's been quite evident with this conversation that with a bit of balance, with a bit of planning, structure, and actually really identifying what your goal is and what it means to you, that anything's possible. So if you are watching this and you want to take one thing away from this, first thing first, get a piece of paper, write some goals down. What do you want to change in your life? And then from that, you can make a plan of action, start moving forward.